Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Worlds.
Welcome to beautiful Atlanta, Georgia, the site of the 2022 Star Wars CCG World Championships.
I'm Dan Tartaglione.
I'm Lenny Rubin.
I will not be streaming. Lenny is going to be your host all day today. He has graciously volunteered to fly down from Maryland?
DC now.
DC now. Yeah, you did move to DC. He flew down. I'm hoping the PC puts you on. I'm hoping the PC decided to fly you down on their dime and not your own.
TBD. I'm gonna have a talk about them about some reimbursement later.
So
haven't gotten that far yet.
To answer that question, Catwall, because they're Johnny Chu's kids. If you paid attention in the cube yesterday, Benji did better than Johnny.
Yeah, no, that was the big story coming out of yesterday in the team tournament. Johnny Chu's kids are Star Wars CCG prodigies.
Yes. Benji played against Chris Kelly, beat Chris Kelly by like 20 yesterday in the team tournament. It was amazing.
I don't think I've ever beaten Chris Kelly by that much.
Our secondary or our man on the spot who's going to be sliding in, sliding out today, Casey.
No, not me.
Not Steve Baroni. He's going to. He actually has said that there's as a 38-year-old, 34-year-old, he cannot play Old Allies while Johnny's kids can. So it's impressive. That is definitely the story of the event. Johnny is going to be playing. He might be dropping and joining the booth later on. Casey's going to be in and out with helping out with active judging and commentary. I believe active judging as a the stream team. So Lenny, Casey, and you guys will be able to help as well. You won't see me unless I'm on stream today, which is highly doubtful. I'm playing.
Don't sell yourself short, buddy.
Everybody's short compared to Hayes.
Well, look, I think the moral of the story coming out of yesterday is if you're a good Star Wars CCG player out there, like if you're good and you don't have kids yet, what are you waiting for? Because the Chus are multiplying.
I'm not a good player, and
so maybe don't have kids.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Lenny and Casey. I'm going to go let Chris do his announcements and everything. We'll let them talk about like the seedings and everything, and talk about the team tournament and the OCS that Chris did yesterday. So have fun, guys. Enjoy the show, and we'll see you guys. Hopefully, see you guys soon.
All right. No, and without any further ado, we'll kick it over to our second man of the booth. Casey.
Wow.
Casey Annis, not Chris Collinsworth.
Oh, I thought you were about to call me Chris Kelly. Hi, everyone. Casey Annis here with Lenny Rubin. We are excited to get started for 8 games of Star Wars CCG. Where am I looking? I'm looking right there.
The camera's right there.
Okay.
I don't know how good any of this is going to look.
So Chris Schoenthal is our tournament director. He is announcing the introductory rules, and we're going to get pairings in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, it should be forthcoming. Just stick with us and until everything gets started, which should be within the next few minutes. If you need information on upcoming online or in-person events, keep up to date across all the news and notes of the Star Wars customizable card game by following our Twitter account at SWCCG.
I follow it. It's a good follow.
It's a pretty good follow. So Casey, now that we're here, now that Worlds, we hear everybody inside getting paired up. What do you think we're gonna see here? How is this Worlds gonna be different, metagame wise, from say Worlds a year ago?
I think we're about to see the return of one streamlined. Excuse me. It's early in the morning. One streamlined light side mains platform for the first time in a while. I think last year everyone was trying to figure out what the best way to run light side mains was, and I think we've all now settled on Yoda Communing. And I think that's the deck that you're really going to see take up a big share of the metagame today for light side.
Yeah, I think not since like maybe 2020 with
Hitco was the last one.
Was like the last big, like, yes, this is the mains platform, this is the deck. You either have to be playing this deck or you have to be playing a dark deck that you think can beat it.
Mm-hmm. Dark seems to be the real question.
Yeah.
Everyone I've spoken to seems to have a pretty good handle on what they want to do for light side. It's dark side that's really been driving everybody crazy. And walking around the hotel the last couple of days, talking to people, nobody knows what they're playing for dark side.
Yeah.
So it's going to be wide open.
And looking at just going by what the most popular deck lists were from Euros a few weeks ago, Bring Him Before Me was one of the top dark decks.
Mm-hmm.
Which and I saw some people at the team tournament playing a version of that last night. We'll see how popular that is today.
I think one of the Chu children was playing Bring Before Me yesterday at the team tournament.
That he was one of several, and I also we might see I don't know how confident people are feeling with it yet, but we might see some of the new 0 Hour deck. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see that. It's a brand new deck.
I know of at least one top player for sure who's going to be playing 0 Hour, so I'm excited to see that, and maybe we'll get him on stream for that.
For sure.
In terms of Bring Before Me, I'm hesitant to read into the results of any Euro event where Bring Before Me takes up a big share of the metagame, because historically, going back to the year 2000 when that card was printed, that card has always been played in higher numbers in Europe than it has in the U.S., and that seems to just be a regional playstyle preference. They love Bring Him Before Me.
That's absolutely
over in Europe,
right. And
but I still think it's a very good deck, and I still think we could see a lot of it here too.
And I think and it's being built these days very differently from how it's been built in the past, with the introduction of Silence is Golden to get a free 1-0 site and then just redraw all of your. Or not redraw, but take all of your Destiny 7 droids into hand all game. Mm-hmm. And it seems like a pretty potent way to build the deck.
Ketwall, I think that Eric and Matt are the only two non-Americans playing.
And someone in chat wants to hear the analysis and breakdown on Communing versus Yoda Muning. That's not something I feel at all qualified
We're
to
going to
talk
save
about.
that for a better player.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anybody else have questions in chat that we can answer? Dylan, I'm not telling you who's playing 0 Hour. Golden God is from Minnesota. All right, well, I'm sure he appreciates you outing his decks in the chat right before Worlds. So what do we like about Yoda Muning? It's a deck that has a lot of advantages over. When you're okay, well, let's get into it a little bit. Yoda Muning versus Kwai Muning. Yoda Muning, obviously, you have the option to play characters like Rey or Leia or Anakin who have moderate immunity to attrition and give them essentially Jedi level immunity because of the attrition subtractor on Yoda's hut. You essentially get a second Walkling retrieval, and you get the ability to manipulate both your Force Pile draws, your Rey draws, and your Walkling retrieval, which you get to do twice, via the peak on the epic event. So you can, and you also don't give up sort of the character base that you give up with Qui Communing. You can play Qui-Gon, you can play Mace, you can play Old Man Luke if you want to. Mm-hmm. So
and there are lots of especially in this meta, not every good character is an ability 6 Jedi Knight anymore.
Right.
You've got a lot of really potent ability 5 options. You've got a lot of really potent ability 7 options. You're not giving up that much to play Yoda Communing, whereas with Kwai, you're giving up like a solid third of the character base.
I mean, the single biggest thing to me is getting to have a Rey who's immune less than 5 instead of less than 3. That's so big because she's already one of the single best support characters in the format, and the issue has always been she essentially has little to no immunity to attrition, and now you're giving her some staying power on the ground. It's a big boost. She combos so well with the ability to put a card from the top of your force pile to the bottom of your force pile and then draw it into hand at any time. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm not really very well up on how Yoda Communing is being built today. I know that the way it was being built about a year ago, you would really take advantage of Yoda being able to pull a 2/2 site or a 2/2 location, and some decks were built with Yoda Communing that had some pretty potent space as well. And
I know Jonas's deck, the Yoda Communing deck that he ran at Euros, was running the Home 1 package, which is, if you've ever played against me playing mains, my favorite space package to run. And he would pull Camino with Yoda Communing, and then use Camino to pull the Twix interior site and get activation set up that way. So I felt that was pretty strong. I know that there are going to be a few builds today running a slightly different site package, and again, I'm not going to spoil people's decks, but I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Whereas like the Qui-Gon Commuting, I think, is built much more like a traditional sort of mains deck where you've got your standard Twix pullers and all that stuff, because the deck itself doesn't get you any additional locations the way Yoda does.
Exactly.
But what it does do is it gives you some additional options for deck manipulation that in the hands of a skilled player, I think Qui-Gon Communing is just as good.
It's certainly a meta-based call. I think last year at World showed that Qui-Gon Communing was probably the stronger deck at the time, and I think now that's flipped.
Yeah, no, I think so. In fact, again, just going by Euros, and not that what we saw at Euros is necessarily what we're going to see here, but we saw a lot of Yoda Communing. We saw a couple kind of experimental Obi-Wan Communing decks, which I'm interested in. And we didn't really see much in the way of Qui-Gon, which was almost like, I was really surprised to see that as someone who hasn't really followed the meta in a while. That seemed like a total 180 from 6-8 months ago. Absolutely,
and I think that goes to show you just how important Gemp is. I'm on stream, so I guess I should pronounce it correctly. Gemp. And people are really able to, now solve the meta, test the matchups to the point that they feel comfortable that they have settled on the best deck or the best version of a deck. And obviously those things are always subject to change, but the consensus now in the community seems to be that this is the way to build the deck, especially with the way Darkside is configured at the moment. Thanks, Kyle. That was Kyle Kruger's arm.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that Darkside side of the meta where there really isn't a consensus. There's
definitely not one deck for Dark the way there seems to be for Light right now.
Right. I think there are a lot of top options if you're Darkside. ROPS, Shadow Collective seem to be that sort of top tier, I think, that we're expecting to see. Then there are other decks that probably could still command a large share of the metagame. Various Revenge of the Sith builds. I know some people are going to be playing Walkers today. There are still, Black Sun decks and Hunt Down V decks running around that you're going to see. Bring Before Me, like we talked about. There are going to be some Bring Before Me's in the meta. And no one seems to really know what that sort of best deck, or if there really is a best deck for Darkside is.
Yeah, no, Dark seems wide open to me right now, and I would like for the stream today, the 8 games we're going to show you today, I'd be surprised if we didn't show you at least 2 or 3 Yoda Communing games, because that's going to be a lot.
And
I think it's going to be a lot of the light side field, but I think we might see 8 completely different dark decks.
we do try to vary it up on the stream in terms of what decks we show you, so don't think that because the stream meta is diverse that the overall meta is necessarily diverse. It's not representative.
For sure, but like we're also going to make sure to show you the top tables as
Yeah.
well, and if the top tables are all Yoda Communing, that's going to be a lot of what we show you.
I see Brad Reinhold's name in the Slack now all of a sudden, which reminds me, expect to see Sikfa as well for Darkside. Expect to see at least one.
Yeah, Joe Olsen. Joe Olsen is probably the other big story of this Worlds. He won Worlds online in 2020 when it had to be online for public health reasons. He came back in person and won it for back-to-back years in 2021 in DC, and he's here this weekend trying to make it a three-peat. I don't think anybody else has ever repeated. I think is he our first back-to-back world champ? We've had several multiples, but
I think Bastion won back-to-back for his second and third Worlds.
That's
We've
right.
never had anyone win 3 in a row.
Never had anyone win 3 in a row.
And so
Joe's going
Joe
for
is
it.
trying to be the first person to win 3 Worlds in a row. And I have to think he's probably the odds-on favorite in this field.
You'd be nuts not to think he at least doesn't have a great shot.
Who would you say is the number 2? Maybe Justin Desai?
Maybe we heard Johnny Chu is here this weekend. We already talked about that. I think as of last night, I had heard that his plan was not to play today. And then this morning found out he is going to play today. So whenever he's in a tournament, like it would be crazy to count him out.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Is that yeah, wait, pull up. Oh, I didn't see the pairings.
Okay, so there's some good ones.
All right, we have all the pairings.
We have
now.
all the pairings, so we're trying to figure out who the feature match is. All right, we've got all the players walking by us out here now in the hallway to get to their tables. I think we are going to go with Justin Desai and Hayes Hunter as our first feature match, the classic old school Kashyyyk matchup.
No shot.
You're saying Justin has no shot?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Come on.
Does this sound any better?
Yeah, let us know if there are any sound issues, technical issues, anything like that. Let us know in the chat.
What? No, you're fine. Yeah. Hayes and Desai have called stream, so they're like set
Yep.
already.
Okay.
That seemed logical.
All right.
These two, obviously from the same area, from Massachusetts, grew up right near each other, were playing together at locals back in the Decipher era, very familiar with each other. Looks like Justin is setting up what appears to be ROPS, and Hayes has not put his cards on the table yet.
Carl, hey buddy. Sorry about that. Where are you at? Sorry, I had to use the restroom.
Why isn't this? There we go.
Hayes is playing Yoda Communing. So Justin's starting cards are Imperial Arrest Order and Secret Plans combo, Insignificant Rebellion virtual, and Endor Shield virtual. Hayes obviously starting the Communing Epic event with Master Yoda, and then his starting effects are Walkling virtual, I Must Be Allowed to Speak virtual, and Saitor Kalfas virtual. So this is sort of now I get to tell you what I was talking about when I said a different location package. Hayes, of course, a member of Team 5, which is one of the larger teams here at this event. They are playing I Must Be Allowed to Speak virtual in Yoda Communing. Now, of course, that's an effect that pulls the Tatooine Lars Moisture Farm, which is obviously otherwise also pull. Well, can you pull the farm with the? Is it 2 light side icons or 2 dark side icons?
I believe it's 2 dark.
2 dark side icons. Okay, so you get the farm out, which is not a location that's pullable with the epic event, but more importantly,
2 dark side icons.
then you get to start getting used pile pulls for all of your characters, not just Rey, deploying, and it's a really powerful engine for getting exactly what you need in your hand. Yes, and it's also excellent against CCT and Court Silverglen, although I'm not necessarily sure that that's what they were teching for here. Kendall Hellman is here, probably playing Court, though.
It seems likely.
I don't...
He was playing Court in the team tournament last night, for whatever that's worth.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know how many CCT players we have here. Funny enough, if I had been in this event, I would have been playing CCT, but I don't know how many other people are really turning to that as an option right now. Players are counting out their opening hands. And Chris Schoenthal, our judge, has just announced that time has started on the round. Hayes going to kick things off by playing a grabber and playing Rebel Leadership to get an Admiral.
and it looks like Justin used his Endor shield to. There's Piet and
Probably Ozzel.
Yazel, yep.
Hayes going to get General Leia. So like we were saying, she is one of those characters who becomes a lot more powerful with the extra 2 immunity that Yoda Communing gives you.
Mm-hmm.
Justin's going to use his Docking Bay puller to fetch out the Executor Docking Bay. Also going to get... What system is that?
Oh, is that the new Ariadu?
Yep.
Or new to me, Ariadu?
And
you can
looks like
get-
the prefix office for the Raltier site. Kind of hard to tell from
Yeah,
this angle.
it's a Raltier site. I don't know. They all kind of look the same, except for like maybe it's either the street or the prefix office.
Dylan, I'm still not answering that. I do think that the deck types are going to be posted sooner rather than later, but that's above my pay grade. Justin's going to play Command. And he's going to fetch out General Veer's V. No real surprise, I don't think, that Justin decides playing ROPS for Darkside. It seemed to me like he's been pretty locked into that deck for a while. My question is whether for light side he goes with Yoda Communing, or he's going to play another command here, or if he plays Legend, which is another light side deck that is not incredibly popular, but that he seems to have been locked into for a while. Another leadership from Hayes as Justin gets Grand Admiral Thrawn. Looks to be Grand Admiral Thrawn V. And it's the new Players Committee alternate image version. So we've seen 2 leaderships and 2 commands so far. Neither player seems interested in grabbing that card. Hayes going to get out the Boss Nass Chamber as he is now in his deploy phase. Saw a couple of the cards in his hand. Looks like another Wisa, Qui-Gon Serene Jedi. Yes, Nate, we're on site. We're out in the hallway. And it looks like Qui-Gon's going to come down to the nightclub. Or is that the that might be the cantina. Like the real nightclub. Since he is playing, I must be allowed to speak. So, Dylan, it's funny. I was talking with Hayes about this matchup last night, and he was talking about exactly what card he wanted to grab in this matchup. And I said, "Oh, you want to grab Gick, right?" And he kind of laughed at me. It's not Gick. If it comes up, you'll see what it is. So that is the cantina, not the nightclub. And we see Qui-Gon go down there. The farm puller gets out the farm.
We do now, Echo Base Trooper just sent us the spreadsheet of the archetypes that everybody's playing.
Okay.
We're not going to sit here and spoil what everybody's playing. I mean, the tournament's still ongoing in there, and don't want to give anybody an unfair information about their upcoming opponents, but we've got it.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil anything until it happens. So, for example, when Hayes came out starting, I must be allowed to speak. Then I'm happy talking to you about it. But we're not here to spoil anybody's tech.
It looks like we've got 51 players.
Excellent. So Hayes has got 3 Raltier sites out right now. It's the street on what is for us on the screen the left-hand side, and then the prefect's office in the middle, and then the docking bay on the right. Now, obviously, Hayes understands the lines in this matchup much better than I do. I'm a little surprised that he went with Qui-Gon to the Cantina and not to Raltier, but have to trust that he knows the matchup. We see, I think that's the 8th, or the 5th brother, 4th brother, one of the brothers. Down to the street.
It looks like an Emperor's shuttle.
Emperor's shuttle with Ozzel to the docking bay. Justin clearly trying to flip this turn. He does with Grand Admiral Thrawn. Flip the objective.
And Ozzel will fly up in the shuttle to Raltier.
Should I turn this up a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
We're going to try turning the volume up
Turn it up
tiny
just
bit.
a hair.
And you tell us now. Yeah, ninth sister. That's who I was thinking of. Tell us how the volume is now. Hayes activating on his turn 3. I'm not sure why you're curious to hear our opinions, because two people who understand the matchup much better than the two of us are playing it out in front of you right now. But I would have been inclined to go to Raltier and try to block the flip. I have to assume that that is incorrect, because that's not what Hayes did.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way Casey does. That the way I would certainly do this is I would throw all my big beefy light side characters on Raltier to try to stop the flip and keep them on the 0 side. But if Hayes is doing something different, it's because he's played it out and tested it out and knows what he's doing. So he's got to have another plan.
Hayes is going to recoil in fear.
Yeah.
So
both players put their hand on used, shuffle used into their deck, and draw a new hand. And certainly a spicy choice.
So what does this do that we know about? We know that Justin had Piet in his hand, and that he's used his Endor shield pulls. Justin's going to get out. There is no try now. Veers, right?
Yeah, no, Veers is in all likelihood not going to be in Justin's hand anymore, which is certainly worth a lost interrupt if you're Hayes.
And Hayes gets a leadership, so we know that he lost the Leia that had previously been in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He can't... Well, he can get back another copy. He can't back... Or no, because it goes, you put your hand on used, and then you shuffle, and then you draw. So it would be in his reserve deck.
Yeah, so it could have been, that could be the same copy.
Could be the same copy of Leia. Yep. It's a play straight out of the Premier Reflections 2 format.
Mm-hmm. And... yes, correct, Silver Glen. No battle order or battle plan for either player yet, it seems. Nobody's satisfying it yet, so I don't think anybody wants to put it down.
I mean, there's a good chance... I don't actually know Hayes' list, but there's a good chance that his deck doesn't actually play any space. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't necessarily want to pull it.
Yeah.
It seems to be on top of Justin's shield pile on the top left corner of the screen, but I don't know if that means that he's played it to the table. I think it's just on top of his shield pile. Hard to tell. Alright, so we're going to see Leia to the spaceport docking bay along with her blaster rifle and meditation. That card doesn't have to go on Qui-Gon. Justin going to play Masterful Move. See what he fetches out. Probably a Gick. Yep, there it is. Looks like a Japanese Gick. Hayes has 4 cards in his force pile. He's going to draw 1. He's going to peek. Going to move that card to the bottom of his force pile. It was a run, Luke, run. And now he'll recirculate 3 force saved, passing it over to Justin.
Nabrin and Were You Looking For Me to the 2 Drains of 1. Still not wanting to put battle plan out there. I think you're probably right that there's probably just not any space.
Was that Were You Looking For Me from hand or from deck?
I thought it was from hand. I don't remember.
Should we assume that means he's got 3PO in his hand?
If he lost it from hand, I would definitely assume that.
Nabrin, obviously a fairly useless card in this matchup with Justin playing Imperial Arrest Order.
Mm-hmm.
Not a dead card per se if Hayes needs to get someone from Tatooine over to Raltier, but not a very useful card.
And if you are collecting tokens, you email the Holo Theater email address and get your with your tokens and get your stickers. Let's say that the token for this hour will be Sense and Recoil and Fear combo for light side. So Sense and Recoil and Fear will be the token. Casey, did you know Star Wars CCG has an Instagram account?
I did, but I bet some of you didn't.
You can follow at SWCCG for additional content and photos.
We've been taking a lot of photos this weekend. Expect a lot of those to come up on the Instagram.
For sure. WTF is Instagram, Dorsch. I'm right there with you. It's something I'm too old for.
Wait till you find out about TikTok.
Oh, no, I know about TikTok. I'm definitely too old for that.
Grand Inquisitor and Blizzard Scout 1V off the top from Justin.
And Battle Order did come out once the shuttle went over to Araidu. Now that's set up and satisfied.
Justin's satisfying Battle Order now, so
Yeah.
he absolutely can and should play that card. Ray comes down for Hayes. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see what he takes out of his used pile. That, to me, is always one of the most fascinating things about watching one of these games, is knowing what the used pile pulls are. We don't have a great way to see that from our vantage point. And Old Man Luke gonna join his sister. So if Hayes were to battle right now with Ray, Justin's Total Battle Destiny is +2. Correct. Hayes moved Run Luke Run to the bottom of his force pile last turn, and now he can draw it into hand with Ray. Like we were talking about pregame, one of the really, really nice features of the Yoda build of this deck. So Hayes or Justin rather, his Total Battle Destiny right now is +2. Hayes able to offset that by subtracting 2 from attrition, essentially.
But yeah, I think just in general, the communing objective, letting you look at the top card of your force pile and put it on the bottom if you want, combined with Ray, who you can play in all 3 communing formats.
And here we see it right now. Battle, Run Luke Run.
So strong.
Fall of a Legend and Speak, those are lightsaber swings, so Thrawn is hit.
Yeah.
Justin pulled the Gick after the Recoil and Fear, right? So we know that he has that in his hand. Justin draws a 5 for Battle Destiny. And a 6. And he's going to do a swap. Gets Grand Inquisitor back, pitching Emperor. It's unfortunate for Hayes that Hayes made him redraw the 5 with Luke, and he drew a 6 afterwards. So Ray will go to the lost pile. Luke will remain at the site. Thrawn is gone as well.
And that'll flip ROPS back.
Yes. Is there no overflow there? What did Hayes draw for Battle Destiny?
It was a character. I didn't see what character.
Okay. Yeah, so then there might not be.
There might not be. It would have been power, like... I mean, he printed power 8 at the site. And to Justin's 4 plus the Destiny 6, which was plus 2 from ROPS.
Yep.
So there may not have been any overflow there. Silverground says it was Mace Windu for Destiny. So that would have been power 12 to 11, yeah. It wouldn't have been overflow.
Justin doing his drains. Leadership and Speak from Hayes. Justin's going to play down Grand Inquisitor to the Spaceport Docking Bay. The city's out as well now, so 4 Raltier sites on table, and if Justin plays another Imperial to the city, he can flip back. He plays the Blizzard Scout 1 to...
the prefect's office, because they also has to control
right,
none,
no
so
locations.
you need that as well.
He's got to hit all 4, but he's got a bunch of characters in his hand, so he can flip back this turn.
He doesn't even necessarily need to deploy anything else to do it. He could just shuffle someone over from the city.
Correct.
If he wanted
He's
to.
got Erica there as well. He's going to play Desai on the Walker. He is going to play Kirkanos to the city, and that will flip.
Yeah.
And does he want a battle here? He'd have +4 to his Destiny. Well, Leia can shoot vehicles, so I don't know if that's the best call.
Yeah, I think he's just moving
just
stuff
gonna move,
around.
Yeah. If Leia's gun wasn't there, it might not have been the worst idea to battle. Hayes going to activate. I didn't notice if Hayes retrieved when he initiated battle. Justin does have secret plans out, so it's possible he chose not to. Hayes did have 3PO in his hand. He's going to play him to the Boss Nass Chamber. And Hayes will move Luke and Leia in front of the Grand Inquisitor. So right now, as it stands, Rops is doing 3 damage a turn, and Hayes, assuming Justin moves away from him, is also doing 3 damage a turn. Actually, Justin hasn't pulled resistance, so I guess Hayes would be doing 4 damage a turn. Or even, 5 damage a turn because of Luke's lightsaber. I'm a little surprised that Justin hasn't pulled... Oh, the Cantina drains -1 when Rops is flipped, that's why.
And just check the stats of the 51 players in the main event today. There are 18 Yoda communing. So
It's almost
about a third
40% of the field, yeah.
On the dark side, there are 5 players playing ROPS today.
Okay. How many 0 hours, out of curiosity?
Let me look. None.
None.
No 0 hour.
Wow.
Yeah, that's surprising to me.
I guess the person who told me they were playing it pivoted off.
So it would seem.
And I'm looking now, and that person is playing Yoda Communing.
What else am I seeing here? I'm seeing at least 3 hidden bases. That seems interesting.
It's interesting. A lot of legend, looks like.
Although, oh wait, no, the 3 hidden bases are the family Chew. They're all playing hidden base. So we'll see what that's like.
I wonder if they all have the same hidden base.
I think the family Chew is how they need to be referred to from now on.
Oh, for sure. They're like the family Von Trapp, but
Does look like a lot of diversity for Darkside, Shadow Collective, Brigham. There are a couple of CCTs. Some agents, ISB, ROPS, Court. Kendall is playing Court. I don't mind outing that one. That's his own fault.
yeah, no, I see like a little bit of Bring Him, a little bit of ROPS, some Shadow Collective.
A couple of
Yeah,
Dathomir Mall's
some
Chambers.
random like SSA.
Walkers,
stuff.
Deal, TTO. A lot of diversity.
Yeah, a lot of different choices for Dark and mostly
Senate,
Yoda
Darkside
Communing.
Senate, a couple of Darkside Senates.
Yeah, Sikfa, Hunt Down,
Hunt Down Non-V.
Non-V,
There, and then a couple of Hunt Down Vs.
Black Sun, Hunt Down V. This deal's getting worse all the time. Lot of different stuff out there for Dark. I think people are just trying to find a Dark deck that can beat Yoda Communing.
Are there any old allies? There's 1, 2,
2,
3.
3 old allies.
3 old allies. A couple prophets.
Yeah, see a couple prophets.
Couple no ideas.
A few no ideas. A few legend.
QMC.
Yep. So you see at least 2 or 3
2 QMCs, yeah.
Yeah.
Interestingly, new ally seems to be
1 Qui-Gon Communing.
1 Hitco.
I see 1 Yavin 4 Ops.
Mm-hmm. New allies seems to be split between a few different decks. It looks like they didn't land on a single light side.
That thing right there that I've highlighted is my favorite, and I want to have it on stream sometime.
Okay.
Maybe we'll see if he's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it looks like ROPS just continuing to do ROPS things for the time being. Just
You mean timing out?
get a hold on Ralt here, and then
Yeah. Justin also deployed ISARD
spread
over
out.
to the boss nest chamber to
Yep.
get in some extra damage.
And I can't
Darth,
tell.
It's Vader Betrayer.
Is that who's
Or,
at the
or is that
farm?
Emperor's Enforcer? It's,
I-
it's an AI Vader, and
Yeah.
I think it's Emperor's Enforcer.
At the farm.
At the farm,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a drain of 3. Or not, it's a drain of 2 unless it's
Yeah.
+1 with Vader and a trooper?
Right.
Or a trooper.
No, it's
And,
It's
okay.
+1 with either, +2 or
Okay.
+2 with both.
Well, it's definitely Enforcer and not Betrayer because here comes Padme.
Yeah.
Not a play you make against Betrayer.
Nope. Yeah. No, I think the way it's written, it's a drain of 1 normally. It's a drain of 2 if you have Vader or a trooper. It's a drain of 3 if you have both.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Throw it up. Want to come in? We want to bring in a special guest here on stream, Jonathan Murray, who ran the Cube event yesterday. And while this slow, grindy matchup is playing out, Throdo, why don't you tell us a little bit about
Hey, everybody.
how the Cube event went yesterday?
Yeah, the Cube event. I think it went really well. We had 28 players, and it was a brand new cube. So, for an untested cube, I think it went really well. Nobody told me that they thought anything was too broken or anything like that. I will be making just a couple slight adjustments to it after this event. But I think it went well. People had a lot of fun, and it seemed to be a good event.
Yeah, people seem to really enjoy it. I
I heard
came
there
down
were-
here and watched a bunch of it.
Yeah,
I arrived here just a little too late
yeah.
to get in on it, but
I drafted it. I had a great time. I also heard that there were some special prizes hidden in the cube.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, well, big props to Scott and the whole players committee, because Scott had this idea that we build the cubes and then in some of the cards we would hide some real Star Wars cards, and you wouldn't really know you're drafting those until after the draft. And so we did that. We hid over $1,000 worth of cards. I priced it out as over $1,000 worth of cards that Scott sent. So I was just blown away by that. And everybody got to look. I told them kind of where to look. It was in the effects that I put them, because I didn't want them to have to tear apart their whole deck. But so players looked underneath their effects and would find these Star Wars cards. Some of them very valuable. Other ones, if they weren't valuable, they were at least useful and good to play and to have for building decks. So it was great. I mean, one of the highlights for me was watching Johnny Chu's kids find these cards. It was like, you know, watching a little kid open a pack.
Oh yeah,
You know, so
experience we've all had.
yeah,
before,
like
and-
I pulled a Vader or something.
Yeah.
You know. So one of them got a Qui-Gon and was just, you know, oh, Dad, I got Qui-Gon. It was cool.
So good.
Yeah.
I pulled a Zuckuss and Mist Hunter and a Crush the Rebellion.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah,
so some solid
pretty
playable
good
cards
stuff.
there. Yeah, so yeah, I think the most expensive card was Darth Maul Young Apprentice.
wow.
I'm not
AI
sure.
or regular?
I think it was regular. Yeah. So, or was it AI? I forget honestly. That was one of the more expensive ones. There was I know Kesslin. I heard pulled the foil Daughter of Skywalker, which I don't remember exactly how expensive that one is, but yeah, it's a good card these days too.
One player pulled both Mace Windu from Coruscant and Speak with the Jedi Council.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a good
Oh
haul.
wow.
Yeah, there
that's
you
a
go.
Nice haul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
so-
Sounds like a really fun event.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I built the cube, designed it, and I wanted to put something in there for everybody. You know, you can build a space deck, you can build a ground deck, you can build aliens, rebels, whatever, like that. If you want to play your Jedi decks with lightsabers, you know, tried to have a lot of different options for people, and so I think it came together pretty well. So you know, we're going to keep one of those cubes around here. I built 5 of them, so 4 will go to the PC, and we're going to keep one around here in Atlanta and keep playing it because we like to cube around here.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those PC cubes are going to get loaned out, is my understanding.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that will work, but, you know, I definitely want people to be able to use them, and you know, if we can use them at another large event like this, like at Worlds next year, that would be good. But also, you know, however the powers that be want to do it. So yeah, so
Very cool.
yeah, but thank you all for having me on here and get to talk a little bit about the cube because it was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for running it.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's
absolutely.
always nice to have a good cube out there because usually they don't get updated more than once every few years, and
Yeah.
it was definitely past time to have a new cube.
Yeah.
We've been needing one of those for a while, so it's a really fun format. If you've never played cube before, try it out, and I'm glad that people are still taking care of it and still updating it and making sure that we can keep playing cube because cube's a blast.
Yeah. Well, it's really good for 2 reasons in my mind. One, it's the closest thing we have to booster drafting or something like that. You know, I mean,
Right,
frankly,
'cause-
Decipher
yeah.
didn't build these sets to be booster drafted.
Right.
So the cube is even really better than cracking packs and building decks with the cards.
I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah,
but,
we just had a trample sighting.
We just had a trample sighting, and trample was the grab. By the way, when I talked about what Hayes was going to grab, Leia gets trampled with attract 6, and now we've got Blizzard 1 and Veers
against
in front of Old Man Luke.
Oh, this is looking like a good match here. Desai versus Hunter. Yeah. Man. Yeah. Yeah, and just last thing I'll say, yeah, the other good thing about the cube is just that you don't have to prepare for it. You know, you can show up at an event, you can have prepared for your main event decks, and you can still throw together some cube decks and have fun.
Don't need to prepare for it. Don't need to own anything.
Yeah.
Just show up.
Yep.
Draft.
Yep.
Play.
Yeah, and we had one guy come from who's a local. He lives about 30 minutes south of here, and he only plays on GIMP normally, and plays you know, Premier to Death Star 2, Scavenger, kind of those kind of formats. So you know, he said cube is right up his alley.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, well, I'll get out of y'all's way, and
Oh, thanks
yeah,
for coming
y'all
by.
Y'all keep
Jonathan,
watching
thank
this
you so
great
much.
match here. So yeah.
Sorry. There are 23 minutes left in the round. What was different about his cube? It was power cube, fairly standard power cube. The list, I think, is posted online.
Yeah, like some previous cubes that we've had have just been, you've got some fixed cards that are maybe like some random battleground locations and some staple effects.
So
and then like you just draft individual cards. A power cube is like there are actual objectives and things in the cube.
Well,
so if you draft like, and there will be certain rules where like if you draft the hidden base objective, you just get a rendezvous point out of the box for free.
So
Go along with your
so
objective.
okay so sorry I
it
want to
lets you-
I want to backtrack on what I said. There was something different about this cube. All of the locations were fixed. You did not have to draft any locations whatsoever. You could
Okay.
have any location you wanted,
Interesting.
assuming it was on the list of and pretty much any location you'd want was on the list of locations that were available. So you could have any location you wanted. You did have to draft objectives, and the objectives came with non-location cards that start with that objective. So, for example, like if you drafted Diplo, it would come with like stolen data tapes.
Yeah,
and whatever.
the tentative.
But the locations you could just get. What you did have to draft was location pullers. So, for example, everybody could have the Boss Nass Chamber, but you still had to draft your Reese's. So that was an interesting component.
No, but I came down and watched some of it yesterday, and it seemed like I saw a bunch of different kinds of decks being played, and it seemed like everyone was really enjoying themselves.
I drafted the cube yesterday, but unfortunately did not get to play any games with it.
Unfortunately, you chose not to play any games with it.
Unfortunately. What are you talking about? You told me my shields were okay, see, and I got a game lost.
So Hayes is gonna fight, and he Odin's the react, and then Luke runs Luke over. So just to break that down a little bit, Hayes initiated a battle with Solo against Grand Inquisitor. Justin attempted to react with Blizzard Scout 1. Hayes played Odin Elser to cancel the react, and then he played Luke Run to move Luke over into the battle. Luke swings and hits the Grand Inquisitor. Justin is going to get to add 4 to his total battle destiny. Actually, we're not going to get to battle destiny because Hayes is going to clash the Grand Inquisitor in the weapons segment, sending him immediately lost and immediately ending the battle.
And I think that was probably a good move.
Yes, absolutely.
On Hayes' part.
He wants to keep Solo around.
You're probably not overflowing ROPS when it's flipped anyway.
And he just got the
you wanna keep
clash.
Solo,
He just got the
yeah.
clash back with Walkling as well. So he placed Walkling out of play to retrieve Clash of Sabers, which I assume means he's already used his Master Yoda retrieval. I didn't see exactly what he used that on, but
Yeah, I didn't either. But still going into, but like being able to pass the turn and go into the rest of the game, still having Solo's text available.
importantly,
is
also
really
you
strong.
don't give Justin a chance to do a Lost Pile swap with Insignificant Rebellion.
Mhm.
And Justin now has Domination out, so you don't risk him, what happened last time, drawing a high destiny, winning the battle,
Yeah, for sure.
and getting retrieval that way. Or at the very least, just, drawing an Imperial and taking into hand. Yes, Nate, he used Han's text to play Run Luke Run.
Oh yeah, duh.
But we still don't know what he used the Master Yoda retrieval on.
Sorry, that was my mistake.
We're starting to see a few players trickle out into the hallway now as round 1 games are ending.
Yeah, this game, of course, is more likely than not to go to time. I would probably say Mains versus ROPS is usually going to go to time unless somebody messes up, and I don't think either of these guys is messing up.
They don't have a ton of life force left, it would appear. I mean, ROPS is obviously a deck that puts a lot of cards on table.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a quick peek and try to figure out where we stand as far as life force.
And Justin's going to drain. We see Hayes lose a few force, including that clash. Unless it happens to be a different clash, I haven't been tracking.
So it's pretty even. Both players have about 20 cards total between hand and life force. We might have some action here. Lucan Chewy. If Justin has another trample, this might be the time. I think he's got 2 force saved. He Jedi lived for Chewy. That's what happened.
Yeah. We also saw a clash go off the top to Justin's drains this past turn. So I wasn't sure if it was the same clash that he retrieved or if he had another copy. But
He's got 3PO down, so it'd be a little odd if because he knew where that clash was, so it'd be a little odd if he let it go off the top.
yeah.
All right, so we've got a react here with Desai on Blizzard Scout 1, so now
And the Blizzard Scout 1 will be able to cancel
Luke's text.
And hopefully force some attrition through.
Although you've also got, I'm assuming, can Chewy cancel Veers' text? Is he? What's his power? He's power 3, right?
Is that a Chewy Protector?
It's Chewy Protector, yeah.
I believe, he could cancel Veers' text.
All right, so Veers' text and Luke's text would both be canceled here. And again, Justin getting +4. Justin draws a 6 for Destiny, so that's going to be a 10. Or a redraw. Redraws.
And I think Hayes drew a BB-8. So it's effectively a 7.
Unclear to me if. So, either Luke's text wasn't canceled or Veers' text wasn't canceled because Justin drew twice. Either way, Justin has to lose the Scout and Desai, and looks like Hayes is thinking about what he's going to lose.
And did Hayes draw multiple Battle Destinies?
I think Hayes just drew BB-8.
Because he's got solo
okay. So then here's what happened. The Scout Walker canceled Han's game text. Veers' game text was canceled. Luke forced a redraw, and both of Justin's draws were 6s.
Makes sense. It is tough not being able to hear.
Right. And of course, if Justin knows that he's got 6/6 on top, then that's absolutely the correct play to cancel Han's text because Luke's text becomes irrelevant at that point.
Right.
So Hayes... Is Hayes going to lose everything? He's thinking.
And there's
Yep.
a handshake. So,
All right, Justin's going to win this game over Hayes Hunter. We are going to take a short break.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back for round 2. But yeah, Justin wins game 1 against Hayes, and Hayes, I'm sure, will look to rebound.
It's a long tournament.
It's a long tournament. Sometimes
Dropping
you
your
just get,
first game does not mean much in the scheme of things. Very easy to come back from that.
for sure.
Last year I started 0-2,
Yeah.
and then I won 6 in a row to make top 8. So you know,
It was a couple years before that. I started 0-2, then got a bye, and then won 5 in a row to get a play-in game,
playing it. Yep.
which I lost, but pretty close to that. But yeah, I certainly coming into this certainly would have thought these were 2 of the best players in the field. You're certainly still thinking that.
Would
after
not
this
surprise me
game.
to see both of these players in the top 8.
Yeah, no, I absolutely see both of these gentlemen tomorrow.
And this loss obviously not going to hurt Hayes' strength of schedule at all. So
Nope.
we're going to
All
take
right.
a break. We'll be
Yeah,
back in a little bit.
We'll see you soon.